Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Day in the Life, our podcast in which we take you behind the scenes of the everyday lives of people that work in quantum technology, but also more broadly in STEM. I'm Priya, and joining me is my brilliant co host Rajiv. How's it going, Rajiv?
Good. Thank you for that more than necessary praise, but I appreciate that. I am doing well. I'm excited today because we have with us a scientist and a YouTube star, but we'll get to that in a second. Awanish Pandey. So Awanish is an assistant professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, or IIT, in Delhi, and he's working on photonics, and including optics and electronics, and we will discuss all that. Before his professorship, he was a senior fellow at CERN, where he worked there on similar type of devices, but for slightly different use cases. And he has a long academic history. So he was a postdoc researcher at Ghent, at IMEC, actually, and he got his PhD from ISC in India. So Avanish, how are you doing?
I'm good, Rajiv, and thank you so much to Padma and Rajiv, both of you, for inviting me on your podcast. I'm looking forward to it, and I would like to agree that I'm a rock star on YouTube, but I think those days are still far away.
But I like how you said they're far away, but
Yeah,
that means they're still to come. So I like that. That's a
yeah.
good that's a
I'm
good
slowly I'm getting
good
there,
attitude.
Yeah, which is why we're super lucky to have you. So thank you so much for making time to do this with us.
Yeah,
Guess we can get started. I'm so curious,
yeah,
Avanish. How do
yeah.
you start your day? Do you have any morning routines that help you prepare for a productive day?
So sometimes it surprises people, but my morning routine has been the same since past 5 years. I'm having the same breakfast since past 5 years. So since past 5 6 years, like almost every day I wake up around 7:30, any time between 7:30, and I usually drink water, and then after some time I just have my breakfast, and after that mostly I go to work. So the I mean, I have a very small morning routine, but it's kind of fixed. It's kind of written on stone that same breakfast, same time waking up, same time going to office. It's all of it all is almost fixed.
We need to know
Wow.
what the breakfast is. I think that is
It's
been constant for 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing exotic. It's just like oats, milk, and some seeds, and one scoop of protein powder. So that's it. Yeah,
Okay, pretty cool. That's also something I've been getting into
yeah,
recently.
yeah. And
Protein powder?
the surprising part is I'm not yet bored. I'm still looking I'm still looking forward to it. That okay, next day I'm going to have the same breakfast.
Nice. Yeah, you have to find that food. Wait, so Priya, you've also gotten into protein powder?
No, I'm okay. Protein powder is just a thing on the side. But yeah, but the oats and the seeds,
Ah, yeah.
I have a little thing in the morning and I take that to university or whatever. Pretty convenient,
Oh,
Ah,
I
nice.
will say. Yeah,
yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
the.
yeah. I don't know if I look forward to it. That would be a little bit of a stretch. But then,
Well, you need to get your tips from Avanish into making it
yeah, we
more.
should discuss this
Yeah,
in detail.
yeah.
But after that, maybe this is a tough question to answer very succinctly, but what would you say a typical day in your life at work looks like?
Before my current job, it used to look like this, that I go to the office and either I read research papers, or I go to do the experiments. Or if I'm sitting in front of my computer, I'm mostly doing simulations. But since I have joined as an assistant professor at IIT Delhi, my role has completely changed. Now, reading papers and I mean, I'm not doing any more experiments. I'm hoping my students should be able to do it. Now I'm mostly it goes into managing my lab, writing grants and attending a lot of meetings, and the number of meetings are increasing day by day. So most of my day is gone in just attending the meetings. And at, but sometimes I do get time, like a part of my day. I get it free, so I can discuss more technical things with not just with my students but with my colleagues and well. And most days, those are the best time of my day when you are discussing something with your colleagues and then you are learning a lot from them. And then you are trying to build something together, and then there is something technically that you are looking forward to. So those parts, then they are the most I could say most exciting part. Then those parts become the most exciting part of the day. Yeah, but and then after some time you realize that it's 5 o'clock or already, and you have to leave. After that, I think again, since past 5 6 years, I'm doing the same thing. I go to the gym after 5:30. I mostly go to the gym, and I try to spend around 1.5 hours or so there. Uh, and after the gym part, I kind of become very useless. I don't have enough energy to do anything else. So I just
Oh
come
wow.
home, hang out with my wife, and have dinner, and then go for a walk and do all those things. And maybe if there is something pressing, like some email that needs a response, or some file or documents that needs to be sent, then I will do just those small things, and then that's it. That's the day. That's the day for me. Yeah.
But so you could really like kind of disconnect pretty well after you need to, like after work when you come home from the or
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're at
I
the
mean,
gym and things.
yeah. If you are lifting heavy in the gym, you automatically get disconnected from a lot of things. From a lot of things. Yeah. In fact, this last Saturday, I competed in my first international sports,
Oh
like
wow,
international sports.
congrats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Oh,
had been preparing for it for a very long time, and I was supposed to compete in one of those events in Switzerland, but that time I got sick, so I couldn't compete. But now these things are happening in India as well. So
Oh
it's
wow.
the event is called High Rocks. It's kind of
mhm.
an event like CrossFit. So they also have their national championships, and also it's actually pretty rigorous. And I was looking forward to it for a quite long time. But now eventually I got to do it. The aim was not to come last, and I succeeded. So that's already a win for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool. So, but did you have to train for it rigorously and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
if you don't train, you can still kind of finish it, but the timings then become so shameful that you can't just talk about it in public.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's very cool. With your hectic schedule of all of the work that you do to also have this, that's super cool.
yeah. I mean, what I have figured out, if you plan to do something after your work hours, things just fit. I mean, you can do those other things as well. Things just fit. And if you keep doing your work, if you are bringing your work at home, then work never gets over. But if you have like a
Mm.
sharp cutoff, then you always manage to do those other things. Like for me, work has never been an issue for me to go to the gym. I mean, of course, there are few days here and there when work kind of walks into your gym life, and the gym life walks into your work life. But most of the time, most of the days, it works. I mean, most of the day you can do your work and do other things as well.
So the balance is important. But you did say that during your work day, I think the part that you enjoy that you're not getting to do as much now is the physics, that you still get to do a little bit.
I mean, it's not like I'm not doing the physics. It's just that now I have to do so many other things as well.
Other things, yeah.
It's part of the job now. So I have to live. I have to live with it now. I have to make sure that I kind of get trained in it so well that I can do those other things, but it still can can make out a lot of time for me to do the real technical work as well.
Mm-hmm. But what inspired you at the start to get into physics to pursue a career?
It actually very simple for me, just like they show in the like the most cliche story that you can that I mean that you can hear. So when I was doing my bachelor's, so I always liked mathematics, anything which had a lot of equations. Even if I didn't understand it, I just loved it. That okay, such complicated things are written, they must mean something very profound. So I always loved mathematics, and then during my bachelor's, we had a course on electromagnetics, and when the professor walked in, the first statement he said that mathematics is the language of electromagnetics. And I fell in love with that course. And after that, I did my BTech project with that professor. And since then, I'm just continuing that thing. So I work in optics, and the base of optics is electromagnetics. So since then, I'm just working in that field. that class actually changed the entire trajectory of my career. You won't believe, before that class, I wanted to go into the army or air force or something so that I can do a lot
Oh
of sports.
wow,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
wow.
amazing. So yeah, you're a man of many talents. You could have gone either way, I guess.
And what big problems maybe in physics keep you inspired today?
I mean, the problems as such, I'm not working on one big problem per se. But when you are doing engineering kind of research work, then you have to make things work in a way that they solve a problem. So you are not just probing the problem from a very fundamental point of view. You also make that problem to solve a question, to solve a practical problem. So that brings a lot of other stuff as well. That you not only have to understand that thing pretty well, but you should be able to engineer that in a way that someone can use it. That people can build over it then. So that has its own challenge, and then things become very interesting, because it doesn't matter if you're working in optics, you need to take help from people working in electronics or mechanics and all those things. So then then in that sense, then it becomes a big problem. But if you see that if I'm solving a very hardcore fundamental problem, then that's something I'm not doing currently.
And it seems like, I want to touch back on something you said about when you first got inspired by physics. It was this professor that came and talked about math being the language of electromagnetism, and you said you did a project with him, and so people
Yeah.
like him and others that were mentors. Could you talk a little bit about the roles that played in your life?
And certainly in my life, I think mentors have played, if not the biggest role, a very big role. Like
Wow.
all of my mentors from my bachelor's to my PhD, and then when I went for my postdoc over at CERN, they were all very supportive. They were all very knowledgeable. So I learned a lot from them, and the support that I got from them, and it just kind of motivates you that okay, you can also do something big in your life, and that keeps propelling you to keep doing new and new things, keep taking new and new challenges. So in my case, if I had not been lucky enough to meet those mentors, to be mentored by those people, I'm not sure where exactly I would have ended. So all the credit, at least in my professional life, a lot of it goes to my mentors, and that's something that I want to do now that I'm on the other side of the table. That now I can
Right.
teach. I make sure that I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do, to be very honest, to motivate people and also teach them technical stuff, to get that balance, so that you don't become a motivational speaker, or you are only teaching the technical stuff that your students are getting bored. So, but I try, like
Okay.
sometimes in my class, I try to give a motivational speech that okay, you can do something big in life, something. Maybe with time I will get better at it, but I have made sure that within 3 4 classes I say something motivational, say something supportive, so that the students can have that confidence in them that they can also do something big in their life.
And
I mean,
that's
it's not
that's
like I
interesting
have done a
because
lot of big thing in my life, but at least they can do. I'm not saying that I have done a lot of big things, but I keep
I
motivating them that
mean,
at least they
I
can do.
might
Yeah.
disagree with that, but yeah. But actually, I wanted to say because that's really interesting. Look, about a couple of years ago, you mentioned that you think you like to teach, but you hadn't done
Yes.
it so rigorously
Yeah.
yet. So now that it's been,
Yeah.
more than 1 year, about 2 years, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Has that evolved or?
Yeah, I mean, I used to think that I like to teach, and it fortunately it turned out to be true that I do like to teach. I like the interaction I have with the participants in the class, and when they ask questions, sometimes they ask very very nice questions, like that type of question that makes you think, and then you kind of feel inside that okay, you have to go back and you have a lot to learn. Like even though you are teaching that course, but a teacher is always learning in the course. That no teacher is so perfect that he knows everything. That when he walks into a course, he just knows everything. So then that becomes a very interesting part of the course. That the students are not just learning from you; you are also learning from the students. Because sometimes they approach a problem from a very different angle, and then you are just amazed that okay, why didn't I think about that? But of course, I don't accept it in the class that that I didn't know it. I will just make something up. Next day, I will clear it. So don't accept that you don't know in the class, but deep inside you know that you didn't know it.
Yeah, one of my professors in grad school used to say the secret of a good university is that the students are brighter than the teachers over the generations.
Yeah,
Oh, but that is very, very nice to. It is inspiring as a student myself that's still taking classes or almost done taking classes. You learn when you see that your professor is also open to learning, and it's more of it's almost a discussion. It's a lot more inspiring and impactful. Then that is really cool.
yeah,
Um, the way so we're chatting now because Rajiv knew you because he met you at CERN first, or
yeah,
when you were at CERN in your time during CERN. So and
yeah.
you were a senior fellow at CERN, and what was
E-
that like?
Yeah, I mean, so by certain journey is also is it has a story to it, just like almost every other thing in my life, they have a small story to it. So, so after my stint at Ghent, I was supposed to join University of Cambridge for another postdoc, but because of this Russia and Ukraine war, the visa got delayed a lot. So, and then I started to think that, okay, maybe, I mean, I'm just sitting idle at home. Maybe I should just apply somewhere else as well. Then one of my friends, he forwarded me this opportunity that, okay, there is similar kind of opening in CERN as well. Why don't you apply there? So I applied there. And in the meantime, I got another postdoc from University of Oxford. And then it became a little bit problematic where exactly I should go. But eventually I decided that maybe I should just go to Switzerland because it just so I had heard that it's very beautiful. So I went there, and I think that I had made the right choice to go into that place because there I learned so much. Not just from the technical point of view, because from technical point of view, after you have spent say 7 8 years in that field, you kind of know a lot in that particular field. But the way they organized their work, the way they were collaborating with each other, collaborating with like the cross collaboration, inter team collaboration that I saw there, it, I mean, it really impacted me in a way that then I decided that when I move back to India and whatever role I am in there, I will try to emulate this thing that collaborate a lot because I saw that the collaboration like doing wonderful things there, and that level of collaboration I had never seen anywhere. I mean, of course, during my PhD
Wow.
and postdoc, I had collaborated with other teams, and for example, some like I would see that teams are collaborating with each other, but the scale of collaboration that I saw at CERN, that they are all coming together, working towards one particular thing, and they are making it work. It was just amazing. Like this thing I I learned completely at CERN that this level of collaboration could also happen in my field, and that's something I'm trying to build here. Of course, I have just joined, so things are moving pretty slow. But over the years, I plan to get get some of that level of collaboration going on. So let's see how that goes.
I guess the interesting thing about those places is they have like an environment around them, right? That generates
Yeah.
this kind of collaboration. So I guess I don't know. You're trying to bring a little bit of that spirit into your
Yes.
lab, I suppose.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
That's
And
very cool. And
what's now? I was just gonna ask, what do you think is the biggest challenge in bringing about this sort of collaboration now that you're here at IIT Delhi?
It, I think it's not just about IIT Delhi. It's about everywhere. It's just the effort. It This kind of collaboration needs a lot of initial effort, and it takes some time for you to see the result of that collaboration. So most of the time when people are putting that kind of effort, they realize that, okay, maybe this collaboration is not worth it, or I don't need to put so much of energy into this collaboration. And because they don't see immediate results, the results will start coming up only after, let's say, only after a few years. So I think that's one of the reasons. It's not just in India, I think everywhere. That's one of the reasons that mostly you don't see a lot of team very proactively looking for collaboration with other teams, because it takes some time for that collaboration to give you results. So if you can just walk through that feeling that, okay, it's not. I'm doing this for long-term gains, not just something for short-term. Then I think anyone can do it.
Hmm.
It's just the mindset.
Hmm.
Well, I want to ask you a little bit about your sort of technical focus. So it seems like from following your work a little bit that you started off, building kind of say like sideband generators or things that are quite applied, and then you went to CERN, which again you built these devices that were for a use case of high energy physics, and now seemingly it feels like you're studying something that seems more fundamental, like these building these non-Hermitian time flow K resonators seems a little bit more foundational than kind of
Yeah.
very applied as it was before. But what are your thoughts on is that how you feel about it, and what are your thoughts on that and how it happened?
I mean, so when you start your PhD and you start learning new things, so of course, then you are not. I mean, your knowledge bank is not that much that you can explore a lot of stuff, and that's why in PhD you are supposed to be very narrowly focused on one or two particular things, so that you can go very deep into it. But as you progress in your research field, then you kind of branch out into different fields, that you start applying the knowledge that you have gained during your PhD into some other domain as well. And that's what has happened to me as well. So during my PhD, I learned how to make all these nanoscale circuits that can guide light into it. And then at that time, I was just playing around with those circuits, that how to build them in a way that they could be used practically somewhere. But the more I went into this field, the more I realized that okay, the knowledge I'm gaining, they could be harnessed in different in little bit different domain as well. Not entirely different domains, but slowly I'm seeing that I'm like slowly I have started applying my knowledge to different fields, and now I'm branching out here and there. So I think in within next 3 4 years, I think I would have started a new research domain for me altogether, where like I'm build like a new research vertical for me. So let's see how that goes. Currently, our group is trying to understand these things very from more mathematical point of view. And then once we have understood our systems, we will try to build them. We will try to do experiments. And let's see. Experiments are a very tricky game. That largely they don't work, but when they work,
Indeed.
they, they give you a lot of insight into what exactly is going on. So I will see how this entire thing goes. Now it all depends on my
And
students. So if it works, it was my vision. If it doesn't work, it was my students. It's that. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's interesting. So do you feel like you talked about studying a little bit more the mathematical properties and trying to build it further on? Is it like kind of driven by a general curiosity, or is it like, okay, I have a goal to achieve something in 5 10 years and we're working towards that goal? Is it a mix? I don't know. How do you see this, your research direction pan out?
For me, it's general curiosity, and it turns out that I'm trained in a particular field, so my general curiosity is usually directed towards that field. But from starting itself, like as I told you, even if I didn't understand those big equations, I was fascinated by them. But okay, what exactly is this? That these equations, big, comprehensive, very complicated equations, what exactly do they represent? So it's my at least for me, it's only driven by general curiosity, and sometimes it could be very disadvantageous as well, because if you are not focused on one thing, and if you then you can go astray when you can walk on a very different path for a very long time, and before you realize that okay, this is not your domain, this is not your expertise, come back, start something, yeah, start something else. So sometimes, I mean, but that's I think a part and parcel of doing research. It happens with everyone. I think that sometimes they think that okay, they get interested in something, they go a little far, and then they realize that okay, they had started something completely different, and this thing is not matching with their initial expectations. So they just come back and go to this older route again. So I mean, Rajiv, I think for you also it would be the same thing. And Padma, for you also, I think it would be the same thing. Sometimes even if you are not doing research, even if you are trying to understand a topic, sometimes the topic can lead you very far. That you started something
Indeed.
with, let's say, Newton's law, and then you went on a Wikipedia page and you saw something very fantastic about Newton, and then you started reading about Newton, where he was born, who was Galileo, how Galileo lived his life. So it's very common.
No, yeah, I feel attacked. That
Yeah.
happens all too often.
Yeah.
But and I think you though you have this, I would say, above average curiosity. In obviously everybody in your field has curiosity about the technical aspects, but I would say you have an above average curiosity in terms of like the history of how it all happened, right? I don't know. This is when I hear you talk. Sometimes you have like a good knowledge of how things came about. You know, whether it was 500 years ago or the last 20 years, you have an idea of
Yeah.
how these things
Yeah.
evolved, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I mean, for me, I've become very fascinated that how those people were able to bring those equations to life without any prior knowledge. Like it just excites me. For example, recently I was reading this book by Andy Weir. It's called Project Hail Mary. It's the same writer who wrote The Martian. So
Ah,
if
yeah.
I don't know if you have seen the movie The
Yeah.
Martian, so it's the same writer. Uh, I mean, in the book, the way he has used science to create a story, I mean, for me, it after reading that book, it becomes less of a fiction or non-fiction kind of book. It becomes more of how intelligent that guy must be to write such a book. Like, and then I'm just fascinated by him then. And then I will go to YouTube or Spotify to see if he has given if he has been on a podcast or somewhere, so that I can learn more about him, that how exactly his brain works, how he's able to think so many complicated physics and chemistry and all this mathematical stuff and weave them into a story. I get very easily fascinated by all these things. I mean, all such people, and then I have to like very closely follow them where they were born, how exactly they went through about their life and what they did, and from where they learned all these things, because it just inspires me that there is someone there who is so intelligent.
I think I can relate to this a lot, and also, and this is also one of the reasons we started this podcast, wasn't it, Rajiv? Because we were like,
Yep.
we're super curious and fascinated by the people that work in science and what their everyday looks like. But then I have a question, because this seems like you're generally a very interested person, and there's a lot of things that interest you. Then how do you decide what to focus on and end up focusing on it?
I don't decide. Sometimes I just get lost in very different thing, that then my wife comes with a whip and reminds me that okay, this is not that you are just wasting too much of time here. So for example, sometimes if I get into this mood of watching a lot of movies, then I can watch movie for the entire day. Like I I I love movies. But then she has to come and stop me that okay, you have already seen three movies three movies today, and now you have to stop. Because for me, it all gets very extreme very soon. That if I loved a movie, then I just go and search about the director, what other movies he has made, and then I have to watch all his movies. So then it takes a very completely different route. Yeah. I mean, there have been days when I have come back from my lab because I was reading a novel, and I just couldn't get the novel out of my head. That okay, I have to finish this novel before doing anything else. So yeah, so in sometimes it becomes very problematic for me, because even if I'm somewhere, my mind is there. My mind is with the book, that okay, I have to finish that book before doing anything else. I'm just hooked with that book, and after that book, I want to read other novels from that writer, and then it becomes a very messy kind of circle that I get stuck in.
I have to ask now. Now that you said Project Hail Mary, give us two more book recommendations, and then do three movie recommendations. It's like a rapid, quick fire thing.
Um, so if I have to go for non-fiction, then I think
Sure.
I keep recommending this book to everyone. I have even in fact ordered this book to a lot of my friends, because this book is just amazing. It's How Not to Be Wrong by Jordan Ellenberg. It's about use of math in real life, and how all this mathematical history, like he will talk about the history, then he will talk about the concept, and then he'll talk about how they are used in our life in a in a in a highly intelligent manner. Like you would think that okay, he's just a boring mathematician. First, he will describe the concept. Then, of course, every concept could be used in two, three different applications in real life. So that book could be about that. But this book is completely different. after reading this book, uh, I forgot the name. There's this guy who has like the father of probability and all those things. I forgot his name. I visited his place in France. I went to visit his place in France just because I got so fascinated by this person. Um, I'm forgetting his name. Uh, oh, it's
Not the author
strange
of the
because
book,
he's huh?
somebody else, but not the author of this book, but somebody
No, no,
else.
no. Yeah,
Okay.
he was discussing about a mathematician in this book, and I
Ah,
got so fascinated by it because
Oh, I see.
that guy was a gambler. So he invented
ah.
probability to win in gambling. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was inventing all these things about probability, random theory, and all those things, randomness, and all those things, because he wanted to win his gambling games. And then I got so fascinated about this guy that then I just booked a ticket, went to his village in France just to see where he lived, how his home looked like, and what exactly he used to do during the day. I was hoping that I could find a lot of things written on his mathematical debates and all those things, but nothing was written about maths in his home. It was all about where he was born, who was the nephew, and what he used to do, all these things. Yeah,
Okay, How Not to Be Wrong.
Interesting.
That's the name
yeah,
of the book.
how
Okay.
not to be wrong. And again, from fiction, non-fiction, both combined, because the Project Hail Mary is like science, and then,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone must read. It should
Oh,
be a must read for everyone. The Martian or Project Hail Mary, everyone should read. I have kind of stopped reading like all these fiction books, all these things. But recently I read a book, I think, which I think most people have already read. It's the biopic of Matthew Perry, the friends, lovers, and that big terrible thing. It's about his addiction. I really loved that
Oh,
book.
wow.
I really loved that book. I mean, even though sometimes this book could become a little repetitive because it's just okay, I took drugs and this happened, then I took drugs and this happened. Sometimes the book became a little repetitive, but it was an eye opener for me that fame, money, and drugs, like all these three combined, what exactly they can do to human body, what exactly they can do to human mind. It was an eye opener for me. I really loved that book.
okay. That's a
Yeah.
different
Wow.
one. I haven't heard of it, but that's on my list now.
And I
Ah,
think is the mathematician you were referring to Blaise Pascal by any chance?
like no, no, no,
Or
no,
maybe
no,
not.
no, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no.
We'll if it comes to you, you can always interrupt us and tell
Yeah,
us.
we'll
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
in
yeah,
the description.
yeah. Sure, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
we'll put it in the description
Yeah,
just so you know
because
who's
now
speaking.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna want to know. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Do you have three quick movies for us?
Movies. I just day before yesterday I watched F1
Oh.
by Brad Pitt. I loved the movie. Sonny Hale, he's the new guru for me. Um, and before that, I'm not sure. See, this becomes a little trickier question because when someone asks you that what are your favorite movies, immediately you forget all the movies. That
You
okay,
forget everything, right? Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So, and before this, I am not sure which movie I had I had seen this movie Warfare. Uh, it's a US movie when they go to Iran. I think they have already made 100 movies about when they have gone to Iran and all those things. So this is another movie, but it's really good. It's really, really good. Before that, I had seen a similar movie like this, like on war and all, Civil War. It's a pretty popular movie. It's also like a fantastic movie. In India, I saw a movie from Tamil Nadu or Kerala or somewhere. It's called the Revolver Clubhouse or something. The Revolver Clubhouse or something. Awesome movie. Awesome movie. Like fantastic. Revolver Club or Revolver Clubhouse, something like that.
I think Rajiv's looking it up. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Not yet, but I might see it as and when.
Yeah. Okay, but if it comes to you, tell us about that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, but this is great. Now I have a movie and book recommendations.
Uh,
See.
I
Okay,
mean,
but
I mean, I mean, if it comes to mind, if it keeps coming to my mind, I will just keep
yeah,
interrupting you
absolutely.
and throwing these nuggets of nuggets of books and books and movie recommendations.
For
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of recommendations, this is not movies or books anymore, but I was wondering, since you're a professor now, what your thoughts on the Indian education system are and what recommendations you have, one maybe one short term, one medium term, and one long term that we could do to make it better.
Um, See, in my limited opinion, I have always found this entire discussion of Indian education system is bad or this thing should be changed or that a little misplaced. Because I think first
Okay.
we have to set what our education system is meant to do for the country, and then we can decide how it should be. So I think the what our education system is meant to do is to educate a lot of people. Like India is like 1.4 billion strong. So and most of us are poor. So your education system, you cannot provide very expensive education system to a lot of poor people. So what we do is that we provide them with the most basic education possible, so that at least they are not illiterate. At least they can read and write. So then the goal of our education system then becomes the making them giving them basic level of literacy, because to give so many people such higher quality of education, it's actually very expensive. I don't think we have that kind of money. So but we do have pockets of schools and educational institutes which can cater to rich, which can cater to very intelligent people, which can cater to, for example, if you plot a curve, let's say, I think mostly it will fit under a bell curve with most of the average students coming on the middle and the outliers on the left and right of the curve. So we have institutes for them as well. But our major chunk, the 95 percentile or 99 percentile of most of the kids that we have, most of them are very poor. We cannot provide them with the quality of education that, let's say, kids from Switzerland or US are getting. So I think on that front, we are doing pretty well. So I won't criticize our education system on that front, because that's not our mandate to make all that. Because a guy who's like below poverty line, do you really think he can afford a school that is charging like 10,000, 15,000 per month? No, he cannot afford. So the government has to come in, and government, they have to put like taxpayer money, and government has like 10 different things to do, like 1,000 different things to do. So I think given the mandate, we are doing pretty well. But of course, there is a lot of scope for improvement. But while making these improvement, we should always bear in mind that our education system is ultimately going to cater to a lot of poor people. So we have to keep that in mind. Uh, Given the resource constraint, like the financial resource constraint and all that, I think if we introduce a lot of technology in the institute, so that at least the teachers are coming on time and they're taking the classes, if you can just tighten our education system with whatever we already have, I think things can improve a lot with whatever we already have. And after that, we can think that, okay, here and there, what else we can bring.
So by Titan, you mean using technology?
Yeah,
Or
for example, if you go to a school which is like very far away from all the big cities, it's in some obscure village, then most likely a teacher is not even going to take the classes. So using the technology, for example, fingerprint attendance and all those things, if you can ensure that all the schools have all this technology that can ensure that at least the teacher is coming and taking the classes, uh, I think a lot of things can automatically improve.
and that would be something short to mid-term, you would
Yeah,
say?
that's something that you can just do right away. I mean, installing fingerprint and all. I mean, they are not that easy, but they are not that difficult as well. And going forward, like in the long term, I would hope that India invests a lot into setting up new institutes, new research institutes. I mean, we are doing it, but not to the level that India is supposed to be doing, because ultimately, I mean, whatever you do, we are 1.4 billion population. So whatever you do, it just looks that, okay, you have taken a very small step. So I think there we have to kind of ramp up a little bit more good institutes, like 100 more good institutes like the IITs or ISC, 100 more good institutes like the ICERs or NICERs, all these kind of institutes, so that at least people who want very high quality education, at least they are not denied this quality of education just because there are not enough seats. We should have enough seats for everyone so that they can pursue higher education.
Okay, that's something I haven't heard as often, but yeah, definitely with our growing population and the number of us there are, this would certainly be
Yeah.
a big would make a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it. Let's say IIT Delhi has 600 professors. Let's say it has 600 professors, and let's say all the IITs in general have 600 professors. So we have around 20, 30 IITs. Let's say we have 30 IITs. So how many professors? We have 18,000 professors, and the students are like 20 crores or something. So
Yeah. Mm.
you can have, like, initially we used to have only seven IITs. Just think about how bad the situation would have been. So we have improved. We have opened a lot of IITs. We have opened a lot of different types of institutes. For example, ICER and NICER and all those things. We have NITs and everything. But I think we need to ramp up these things a lot more. We need to be very aggressively pushing for for all these things. Sorry.
Interesting.
So I have one more question then before we get to our game. On a lighter note, so you were on the Abhijit Chavda podcast over a year ago now, and it now has
Yeah.
150K views. So has that affected your life in any way, or have you
Yeah.
noticed a change because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of offers from Bollywood and all those things, but those are normal, I think, for someone. But I mean, eventually I had to turn them down because I'm a professor. I'm not supposed to be earning money from. So that's the only reason I turned those offers down. No reason, no other reason.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, of course, of course.
What
I
a
mean,
loss.
it's all,
What a loss for
yeah,
Bollywood.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, after that podcast, there have been very few instances when I meet someone and they know me from the podcast, but those numbers are very less. I think after the podcast, I think I have met like six, seven people uh, who have kind of recognized me on the street that, okay, you were on that podcast. Only six, seven or so. Even though
Wait,
after
so
the
on the streets, some people recognize you
yes,
because of the podcast.
yes,
That's
yes, yeah,
insane.
Even if it was just 6 or 7, that's amazing. I don't know. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of cool,
that
actually.
is.
yeah, yeah. But after the episode, my LinkedIn exploded with messages that, oh, I saw your this episode. It was really good. This that. So initially, I was replying to everyone. After some time, it became a little hard,
It's
very hard for me
impossible,
to
right?
reply to everyone. I mean, of course, then I thought maybe my life is going to change. I'm going to become the new celebrity of India and all those things. None of those things happened. after after 3 4 days, it was normal as usual.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. That's actually really interesting to have gone through something like that. It must have been a fun experience, though.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's switch over to the game then. So I guess I'll talk about it first. It's called Spice It Up or Slice It Up or Spice It Up. So the way it works is I'm gonna give you two options, and you can decide one of the two based on whatever your subjective criteria is. You could also
Okay,
decide both or none. But if you do that,
okay,
then we all have to take a bite of whatever spicy thing we have right now. So
okay.
maybe before getting to the game, just I'm gonna shout out a few whatever spicy thing I have. So I have this habanero hot sauce that my wife got me from the U.S.
Ah,
So hopefully
see.
I'll not be tasting too much of it today. But depending on your answers, actually, what do both of you have?
Okay. Uh, I mean, I don't have anything. I just got this thing, which is very. I
Skip
went to
that.
the shop, and this is the only thing I could find because I'm currently not in Delhi. I'm not at my home, so I had to go to a shop to get it, and then this is the only thing I could find. I still have to see how exactly it tastes. So let's see.
Okay, that doesn't look very
I
spicy,
mean,
but
that's good
I'm
enough for the game.
compensating for you
Ah,
because today
you.
I'm to do just going to direct no sauce, nothing. I'm just gonna bite into the chili. So I hope you will not give us as many opportunities because I'm
I
not
think
looking
whatever
forward
this
to
And I
that.
game
hope
is, Padma is already a winner. Someone who can.
No, you mean loser.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm hoping you do secretly say both because it's really fun to watch Priya try and eat
oh
spicy things.
gosh,
So
no.
okay,
I see.
let's get started. So as the first one, so CV Raman or oh yeah, I should say this is a game that's inspired by another podcast called Drink Champs. It's a hip hop podcast, so I always like to shout
Okay.
them out. But okay, so CV Raman or Satyendranath Bose.
CV Raman.
Yes,
Okay,
nice.
you
Yeah.
could. you could also say, if you want to, a couple words why, or we could also move on, but it's up to
I
you.
mean, because from childhood itself, you keep hearing a lot about CV Raman. Somehow you don't hear a lot about Satyendra Bose. Somehow I don't know why, but about Raman you hear a lot of things. So he has been a hero since childhood. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, then the next question, it's a little bit of a deep cut for people that are in the field,
Mhm.
but Joseph Fourier or Joseph Louisville?
I mean, Fourier is like the boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, but
uh,
Louisville is a little bit in your domain, a little bit more, I guess, but I mean, as opposed to Fourier, which was more
Fourier
drawing.
was, I still remember reading one book where they had explained that how he came about his Fourier series and all those things. So I think what he was doing was he was measuring the temperature of seasons, and then he saw that the temperature of the seasons could be represent. I mean, of course, they are periodic, and from there, because of course he was so intelligent that just by looking at that thing, he can come up with a series formation and all those things. So yeah, I mean, I have read a lot about Fourier, so I have a bias towards him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have the invention of the laser or the invention of the transistor.
Ah, you got me there.
No,
Ah, both.
no.
Yes, let's go.
So
All right.
I also have to eat it. Only
Yeah,
you
yeah,
two will
yeah.
do
Yes,
We
it,
all
or
have
we
to
all
do
have to
it now that we've been
eat a
indecisive.
bite.
okay.
Oh
I
no,
also
I put
then
too much
okay.
on this.
Oh man.
Ooh,
Oh, green chilies are also bitter. This is not something.
It's fine.
that's good. It's good to know that only we are suffering. No.
Yeah.
Okay, then another one I have is a bit specific to CERN, but the discovery of the Higgs boson or the invention of the World Wide Web?
This is the difficult one. Again, both.
No.
Both? Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Cheers, guys. Ugh,
Oh
this
my.
is gonna be.
Padma,
Oh,
Padma,
How
no,
do
I'm
you
you
are
good.
do
just
this?
you are just touching it. You have to
Yeah,
eat it.
because no, this is. I think I have done justice. Oh my god. Oh, and this is a regular thing in. I don't know. I've seen my Haryanvi roommate eat like a chili with her dinner. Oh
Ah,
gosh.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know how it feels like. Okay, we have two more. The first one is physics invented or is physics discovered?
ah. This is a question. I mean, not on physics, but about maths. We had a lot of discussion just few days back with one of my colleagues.
Yeah, I think it's
So
more
for
common in math, right?
yeah, I think in physics also, I think it's mostly discovered. I mean, those things are there. You just discovered them, and I mean, we can have hour-long philosophical
Indeed, yeah.
discussions about it. But in my opinion, it's discovered. It's not invented.
Okay. I think Priya, you have the last question.
Oh yeah. This is not so much you're not an outsider, but just an indirect perspective. We like to ask this
Mhm.
question about which qubit modality will be the winner, in your opinion, of all the different kinds of qubits there are in quantum technology. Do you have
Easy
a
peasy
favorite?
for easy peasy
Oh,
photonic qubits. Yeah, because I work in that field. I mean, what are we even talking about? Yeah.
yeah. Sweet. You heard it here first. I think you're one of the first people to give us such a clear answer. But yeah, it's photonics.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's it for the game.
Rajiv, Rajiv also works in some of these related fields, I think.
Yeah, so I will abstain from answering the question for now. Maybe one day on the show I'll give it, but for now I will
Yeah. The
stay
fight
tuned.
the
Maybe at one day I
fighting
will.
yeah, the fighting could wait, but I think we all know photonics is the winner. So
Yeah, we are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like the bold claim.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, Padma, you were saying that you are into a lot of fitness stuff now. So, what do you do?
Fitness, well, I like to run. I used to play basketball. I don't play anymore. But yeah,
Ah,
I'm getting into running a bit more. Do
I
you,
see.
Rajiv, you also used to play basketball. Are you
Yeah, I
put
used to
to
play
it?
basketball. Now, honestly, the last year it's been more like maintenance. So I'll go to the gym and lift some weights, I guess.
Ah,
But I don't compete, so so
International
I'm not
level,
there.
yeah, I don't know, Avnish. You should tell us, maybe send us a link after we're done because I've not heard of this before, and then we can even put
okay.
it in the description for people who are curious.
Yeah, sure, sure. In fact, we have another game in Mumbai after 2 months. I mean,
Ah,
I'm not participating in it. And then next year in April or so, we have one game in Bangalore. So
okay.
maybe I will compete in that because then I will
Okay,
have enough time to
to train.
to
Okay.
yeah to train. Yeah.
If it's in Bangalore and if it's 2 years later and if this is interesting enough, I will also look at it. Maybe even I will compete in 2 years.
Let's go.
Uh,
We will come back in an episode 2 years later and ask you to do it next
Yeah.
time.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Credit
Yeah.
Avanish for the idea. Yep. Yeah. But thank you so much, Avanish. Before we drop off, I wanted to ask, do you have any advice for people who are interested in science and STEM as a professor, but also as a student yourself? Um,
Like people who want to become
or
professors,
actually,
or
what, even general life advice, advice for people that want to learn and be curious.
see, one thing, I mean, from my own experience, one thing that I can say that it's not hard. People worry too much about mathematics or like science is way too complicated, physics is way too complicated. It's because I mean, if you want to compete for an exam or something, then maybe it's hard. But if you are in general curious and you want to take time to understand few things, because there have been a lot of subjects that I didn't understand when I was writing exams. But after that, when I started attacking those subjects on my own, because I just thought that okay, maybe I should just see how it will work out now, and I learned a lot more when I was not competing. So if you are trying to compete, then that's a different thing. Then of course a lot of other things come into play. But in general, if you are curious, if in general if you want to know about things, if you general you are curious how maths work or how physics work or chemistry, I think it's not that hard. Anyone can do it. Equations could be very terrifying to a lot of people. It's because they have not been taught those things well. But if someone is there who can assist you in understanding those equations and who can walk you through it, it's actually very fascinating. So don't let your curiosity die just because you are not good with equations, as others might say, because no one knows how good you can be if you're not competing for exams and all, if you're just learning it for learning sake. So again, I mean, people who have left it and they want to try it again, just give it a try. I think if you're not competing, you learn more.
Wow, I really like that advice. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
be don't be scared of those. I honestly
Yeah.
sometimes even I get scared of some scary equations, but it's nice to think about it that way actually.
Yeah.
So I think on that note, we'll end the podcast. Thank you so much, Avanish, for your time. I know you're super busy traveling. You're not even at home right now, but taking time from your day to chat with us today. I will have, as mentioned, we'll have lots of links in the description below now, I think, from all our
Sure. Yeah.
conversations, including, so Avanish will be teaching a course on semiconductor manufacturing and photonics. So the link will come up in a few months. So stay tuned as well. You can come back and see the link on the description below. The music you hear, as usual, is from Himanshu Katara. Thank you so much, and we will see you on a following episode. Bye,
Thank
Thank
everybody.
you
you,
so
Avanish.
much. Bye.
See ya.